You said Magic and I sat down and squashed whatever we had going.
Publicly.
Hey guys, this is Dominique Wilkins.
Hey, this is Sean Kemp.
This is Gary Payton.
Hey, this is Pau Gasol.
NBA fans, what's up? This is Vince Carter here.
Hey, what's up? This is Matt Barnes. If you're an old school NBA fan like I am, make sure you check out the Basketball Time Machine with my man Sean David.
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Basketball Time Machine. My name, of course, is Sean David, and I welcome you to your weekly dose of old school NBA basketball. In today's episode, I want to talk about a recent interview that Isiah Thomas gave on the All the Smoke podcast, talking with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson about the Michael Jordan beef. And he had some pretty interesting insights, so this is what we're going to talk about. And also, we want to take a look at the interview, and I will give you my perspective on the whole situation. But before we start with that, let me ask you guys for a small favor. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content. And I would say enough said, let's get right down into it. So before we start taking a look at the interview, I want to tell you guys that I only saw this interview a few minutes ago, so my take on it will also be totally fresh, unprepared, just unfiltered, just my whole perspective on it. So let's take a look at the interview first.
We had Magic on the show at the end of December, and your name came up, and Magic was talking about what you and him went through and how you guys were able to sit down and patch it up.
Which is beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, everyone was big fans of that. But he also said he would like to see you and Mike patch it up. You called me after that, and we had a conversation on the phone about what was going on. You care to share any of that?
Hey, man, you know, I just want some people to be honest.
Yeah.
Right? I got no problem sitting down talking with anybody, right? And as you can see, you know, I'm
Your open book.
I live with love, peace, truth, honesty, courage. I stand on my square. I'm upright, I'm independent. And I sit in any chair and I talk to anybody, right? But some people they ain't been telling the truth, right? Now, anywhere, anytime, publicly. Don't call me behind the scenes apologizing or asking your friends to apologize, right? You got on national television and you called me an asshole. And then you said you hated me. You said that on national television. Now, if you didn't mean it, get on national television
You say that.
and apologize for it. Now, if you meant it, let it ride as it is. But, so I called you. And that same day, you know who I called? I called Magic Johnson. Magic was on a plane. They was shooting a commercial in Atlanta. Him, Sam Jackson, everybody else. We were staying in the Four Seasons Hotel. We missed each other, right? Because he said he had to go, so he on the plane, right? I called him up. Magic didn't mention Michael Jordan. All right. So I'm still waiting. Everybody say this stuff publicly, right? Okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do. All right, well, I'm the type of guy, I sit here, I talk to you. It ain't a person in this United States of America that I'm not willing to sit down and have a conversation with and break bread with. But if you lying and throwing stones from behind the scenes, okay, that's you. But if you honest and you upright on your square, I'm willing to deal with it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's all I know. Now, where do we go from here?
All right, you guys. Now, the first thing, most of you guys already know, Michael Jordan is my favorite player of all time. And there's no other athlete who has inspired me and influenced me in the way that Michael Jordan did. So, Isiah Thomas, I also love Isiah. I gotta be honest. I know he's not the most popular player in NBA history, but I loved him as a player, and I know that many people are critical about him when it comes to his personality and the things that he has done to Jordan, but to me, in my opinion, I think Isiah Thomas and Michael Jordan have a lot in common. Both players did whatever they had to do in order to win championships. Michael Jordan was that way, Isiah Thomas was that way. So, and were some things Isiah Thomas did back in the days sneaky and not cool? Of course there weren't. But as I said, he did whatever he had to do in order to win championships and to get the upper hand.
I mean, you told me something interesting. I mean, you had family that had stayed with him at one point.
Absolutely. Hey, when Jordan first came to Chicago, first of all, we were fans of his, and to some extent, still fans of his. My family, his family, not only did they socialize, hang out, but as I said, you know, I had a little nephew that lived with him, and everybody's still cool, right? Ain't no hate for Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
We just want some realness, right? Just, you know, like I say, you got on national television, and ain't nobody nowhere has ever got on national television and called me an asshole, and then publicly said you hate me. I ain't heard that from you. I ain't heard that from you. I ain't heard that from no NBA player. And so and by the way, all them years that you supposedly hated me, you voted for me to be the president of your union.
Yeah, I seen a lot of pictures of All-Star games and y'all laughing and joking. It didn't look like hate.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, you know, if that, you know, now maybe you felt like that privately and I didn't know. But now that I do know, and by the way, if you didn't mean it that way, then publicly say it. Don't privately say it. You know, Magic, we don't need a private conversation. This man did this on national television, internationally. I have to answer this question, right, in every interview that I sit down and do. You asking me this question, right? So now I'm the one who's looking like, oh, why are you talking about Jordan? Why are you saying this?
Right.
When you to put that out there, and now you at home or on your golf course or doing whatever you do, and now I got to answer this BS question. So if you man enough, and if you meant it, leave it as it is. But if you didn't mean it, then come out and clean it up.
I can understand that Jordan disliked Isiah Thomas back in the days. I totally get it. I totally understand. I probably would have been the same way. I probably would have hated him back in the days. But this is the one thing that I wish Michael Jordan would change about his personality. I think he personally should be more forgiving, especially when you're at a certain age and we're talking about stuff that has happened 30 years ago. I just wish Michael Jordan could be the bigger man in certain situations and just say, hey, it's so many years ago, I don't care anymore. Let's forget about it. Let's squash that beef. I think it would make Michael Jordan even greater as a person, and I wish he could just have that quality as a human being. And I've seen it in a couple of incidences that Jordan really has a problem being the bigger man in certain situations. I mean, he has the same situation with Charles Barkley. They are not friends anymore for over 10 years now, and I know that Charles wants to be friends with MJ, and he would squash the beef in an instant if Jordan just would move one step into his direction, but Jordan doesn't do it. And also for a situation which I don't understand. I don't understand why Jordan is mad for Charles just speaking his truth. If you want your friends only to talk the way you want, that in my opinion, that are not good friends. Friends always are honest. But that's a different story. Now with the Isiah Thomas situation, I know Isiah really wants peace. He really, really wants peace. And from all the interviews that I've seen about with Isiah Thomas over the past 15 years, I know that he's a person that is willing to talk to anybody, and he's a person who is willing to forgive, a person who can be the bigger man in certain situations. And I know if you take a look at some of the interviews over the past years, before the Last Dance documentary happened, Isiah was saying many good things about Michael Jordan. So he did his part. He made a step towards Michael Jordan. He really did. There were so many interviews where Isiah was talking good about Michael Jordan. But of course, he also has his pride. And when he hears that Michael Jordan calls him an asshole, of course, Isiah Thomas will say, okay, that's too much. So in my opinion, I think Michael Jordan should be the bigger man, call up Isiah Thomas and say, hey, I felt that you were an asshole back then, but I changed my mind now. Let's be friends now. I think it would make Jordan such a great person if he would go on air and say, hey, the beef is squashed. We're friends now. It's all cool. That's just my opinion. But I want to know from you guys, how do you feel about the situation? It's tough for me saying negative things about Michael Jordan because I love this guy so much, but I also got to be honest. I love Jordan as a player. I love him as a human being, but that is just the one thing that I wish he would improve about. Anyway, let me know in the comments below.
For all fans of 80s and 90s action movies and classics such as Bloodsport and Kickboxer, comes a real retro experience. The Last Kumite.